Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody? Chiefs beat writer Terez, Paylor, back here for our Sports Beat KC Chiefs podcast. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back in the middle of it now. Been a long 3 weeks, man. Went from Charlotte, the NFC Championship game, to Mobile for the Senior Bowl, to the Super Bowl in San Francisco, where I was there for about a week and a half. So I missed you on the podcast. I missed the podcast week. I wasn't happy about it. So I made sure I came back with something strong for this week. I think you guys are going to like it. This is going to be a podcast, another solo podcast, because you guys really seem to like the one I did, my last one, which is focusing on Ford and D Ford and Eric Fisher, talking to Chuck Smith and Louis Riddick. So I'm going to keep doing that for a little bit and see if you guys are digging it. Keep digging that. But yeah, this one is about Marcus Peters, the reigning 2015 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. The cool thing about the Super Bowl is that, you know, if you're a reporter, one of the best reasons to go is that, man, a lot of people are there. Former players, Hall of Famers, all that kind of stuff. These are really smart people that you can, in the game of football, and you can really get their opinion about guys. So when I got there, I really wanted to make sure I could find out, okay, what do these guys really think of Marcus Peters? You know, what do they really say about Marcus? And my story's on the website now. Go to kansascity.com. But basically, a bunch of Hall of Famers just told me, there's still room for improvement with Marcus Peters. As good as he is, and Peters is great. He had a great rookie season, 8 interceptions, tied for league high, led the league with 26 passes defensed. Teams kept attacking him, and he kept showing up, rising to the occasion. And there's something to be said for that. But, you know, when Deion Sanders says, hey, there's room for improvement here, or Eric Davis says, hey, there's room for improvement here, it probably makes sense to listen. And it was good talking to these guys, you know, Cris Carter, Michael Irvin, Bill Poland. Y'all talked about Marcus Peters, and, you know, it's good talking to them just because, they're not associated with the team. And a lot of times you find sometimes you talk with the team or people associated with the team, they don't give you some of the bad stuff too. But the nice thing about these guys is that they've got the cachet where their opinion matters, but, you know, they're going to give it to you uncut, so to speak. And that's what this podcast is about. I know Peters is a lot of people's one of their favorite Chiefs, certainly a tremendous rookie season. And I thought that all of those guys had fair and reasonable takes about the season Marcus Peters just had. And, again, my story's on the website about it. I encourage you to check it out. Charles Woodson spoke. All the guys I just mentioned spoke about it. But I figured it also makes sense to hit this from a multitude of ways. I shot the video of Peters as well. But, you know, I figured, hey, why not break out a podcast? You know, Marcus Peters-centric podcast for you guys, so you can really see where this guy has left to go. So let's play some of these interviews I've done about Marcus Peters, and I'll break in on a few, you know, just to give you an idea. You know, if I have something to interject, I'll break in on a few. But these are pretty good, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. And again, you know, please let me know if you like this format going forward. Okay. All right. First one, I think we're gonna break out Emmanuel Sanders, because Sanders, everybody knows, was almost a Chief a few years ago for the Broncos, came in and swiped him in free agency. But he gave a really honest assessment of what kind of player Marcus Peters is. Remember, Peters had 2 picks against the Broncos this year too. So, all right, without further ado, the first interview, this is Emmanuel Sanders on Marcus Peters. Check it out.
I want to see, you said he should. What you think of this cat, man?
Man, he a bad boy, man. He a bad boy. You know, I faced him twice this year, and man, this dude is one of the best corners I face. You know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he has his negatives and positives. As much as he make those plays, he's get those interceptions. He can also he's subject to get beat on double moves because he's so aggressive. But that aggressiveness is the reason why he's the player that he is, because he's gonna sit on your routes. He's not gonna get out of there. You can take him deep for sure, but he's playing the game the right way, because if a quarterback and wide receiver is throwing the ball down the field, that's a low percentage throw. So he's just playing the odds. He's playing the numbers. He's like a Mayweather. He's a calculator. And, it's working for him.
Now, that's pretty high praise because whenever you say somebody's like a Mayweather with their on-field technique or skill, that's pretty high praise. And some of you might have heard me go like, for real? When he was like, he's one of the best corners I faced this year. Yeah, that's a journalistic technique, man. Sometimes if you say things like that way, you can get the subject to expand upon it a little more, a little easier. And that's what happened. I'm glad Emmanuel kind of went into depth on what he thought about the kind of player Marcus is. And the reason I played that first, ahead of Deion, who's I'm about to play next, is because I thought Emmanuel did a really good job explaining just exactly why, Peters isn't the perfect player, even though he's a really, really good one. And I think it's interesting hearing Deion, too, talk about Marcus. So, just transitioning into what Deion's saying. I mean, you know who Deion is. Here's what he thought about Marcus Peters as well. Check it out.
He played great. He still has a long way to go, but he played great. Because I check on him not only on the field, I check on him beyond the field. His defensive back coach, as well as Al Harris, has really contributed a lot. So you got to understand who those two persons are that's coaching him. If he just continues to listen to those two gentlemen that the Kansas City Chiefs have placed in his path, he would have a bright future.
When you say he's got a long way to go, do you mean in the sense like on the field?
Well, the next stage is expectation. See, when you do something and people don't expect it, they say you're nice. But see, now you expect something, okay? See, now you expect something, and that's a whole different case. Not only do you expect something, you're saying, okay, well, the next maturation level is go take that dog on the other team. Are you ready for that? Because that's every play, playing against the best. And when you play against the best, that ball is coming at least 6 to 8 times a game. And he's good for a reason. So the maturity of that is to be seen.
That Deion is Eddie.
There you go. Pretty interesting stuff there. He's basically just like, straight up. He's just like, hey, he just needs to keep listening to these guys. And coachability was a question mark for Marcus Peters heading into the draft last year. Dismissed from his team last year in 2014 in Washington. It was one of the things that helped him fall to the number 18 pick in the draft, to be honest, because this was a guy that ball skills, everything was there. You just wondered if he'd accept coaching. And I think it's interesting that Deion mentioned that's something that he still needs to keep doing. I went back. I thought it was such an interesting statement he said. I actually went back to him a little bit later, find out a little more about, just his opinion on how he evaluates corners. And he basically said Peters has the major trait he's looking for in a corner, which is confidence. But he did bring up the coachability thing again, too. So check it out.
Most important traits you're looking for in these guys?
Confidence. And the ability to forget.
Is there an easy way to tell that when you're looking at the tape?
Not within the scheme. I mean, you have to watch that over a period of time. You have to really gauge that over a period of time.
In your dealings with Peters, do you think he's got that? Have you heard that? Do you think he at least has that confidence?
I think he has tremendous confidence. But there's a maturation process as well that he has to make. You got to understand, Al Harris is a good friend of mine. We talk often. Enough said.
I'm sure you watch.
Pretty strong stuff from Deion, man. He made it clear, hey, he has regular contact with Al Harris. He gets updates on Marcus Peters, man. He knows what's going on with that kid, and he likes his game. But it's important for Peters, especially going forward, to continue to listen to his coaches and do the things that Deion's saying. And I thought Eric Davis, who's NFL Network analyst, former Pro Bowler, former All-Pro, played corner as well, like Deion. He has some pretty good takes about what Marcus Peters is as well, and he didn't hold off at all. Check this out though. This is Eric Davis on Marcus Peters and what he needs to do going forward here.
Cornerback.
Roger
what was
Cris.
your impression of Marcus Peters, the former cornerback this year?
Talented kid, talented little knucklehead that he's getting better. He's growing. He doesn't realize how good he can be once he actually learns. Right now he's playing on raw talent, and you see what he was able to do. Once he actually learns the game, once he actually learns how to see the Matrix. There's no telling what he's capable of doing, but he's just a little knucklehead. I told him that yesterday too. I can't even tell you how many times I've told him that stop looking at the quarterback. He wants to look at the quarterback. I keep telling him he ain't throwing to you. Why you keep looking at him?
You're talking about looking in the backfield.
Yes.
Right? Why would that get you in trouble if you do that too much as a corner?
Well, it's a really simple thing. If the quarterback is looking at you, looking at him while he's looking at you, guess what? He's not throwing to you. Again, you're not on my team. I'm not throwing you the ball. You saw what Brady did to him in the game. Brady looked right at him, moved his shoulders in that playoff game, and he bit hook all in his mouth. I was like, what are you doing? We talked about that. Like, what are you doing? Oh, he was looking right at me. Do you really think Brady's that dumb? Okay, so that's the thing. So once he learns the game, he'll be fine.
Eric's a funny guy, man. Good, no, more good stuff from him. Here's the tricky part about that, and I want to make sure that we all understand this part. He is right. Marcus Peters looks into the backfield. He's looking at the quarterback. But to be fair, that's how he makes his plays. He's a smart player. He understands route concepts, and he looks at the quarterback, and he makes plays on the ball by taking educated guesses. Now, that gets you beat sometimes, and he got beat a few times this year. But I don't think he's going to change his style. You can criticize, his tendency to look at the quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to change his style, and I don't know if he should. I do think it's important to remember that, like if next year, if he gets beat a few times and, there aren't as many big plays early on, I do think it's important to remember that, hey, he don't change who he is, because what he is a playmaker, and you can't take that away from him. And even, your Hall of Famer can see that too. Here's Cris Carter. Cris Carter's a Hall of Famer. I thought it was interesting that the receivers I talked to about Peters, Michael Irvin, Carter, liked the tenacity he played with. Check out Cris Carter's thoughts on Marcus Peters.
Peters this year, what did you see from the kid?
Marcus Peters is a great player. He really responded to a lot of individual challenges, playing a lot of man-to-man. Kansas City did a great job of getting him to do things that he did well in college, but also from a maturity standpoint. A lot of marks with him coming into the league. You could see the way he handled the responsibility, and also handled the success. And I know some guys that play there on the team, so they provided some great leadership, for him from a defensive standpoint. And, playing alongside Eric Berry, it doesn't help, as a young person, to give you perspective on what he went through. And Andy Reid, I think he's one of the best coaches in the league as far as developing young players, getting them a plan, not only as far as on the field, but off the field.
Have you heard good things about his maturity? And
I've heard good things about him, I think it reflects the way he's playing on the field.
Good stuff there from Cris Carter. He knows who Marcus Peters is. And he's got people on the team talking to him too, so just an interesting guy. A lot of times, man, I feel like we can't talk enough about this guy. He had one of the more remarkable rookie seasons any of us have ever seen. He was so much fun to watch, a true playmaker. I wrote in my story about him that includes a lot of these interviews that dropped in Tuesday's Star. You check that out online. But, I wrote this, and I hope people understand that this is high praise coming from me. I said, he played kind of with the splash of playmaking flair that you really don't see very often consistently from corners. And you really didn't see anyone do it consistently other than Deion. But there were times this year where, Peters really kind of had some of that in him. And that's a special trait. Don't underestimate how unique that is. That is a special thing. And these guys like confident players like that too. Michael Irvin was about as confident as it could get. Michael Irvin, loved football. No matter what you said about him off the field, he was a good teammate and he loved football. Irvin loves Marcus Peters, and I know why, because I feel like Marcus plays with so much confidence that Irvin probably feels like this is a guy that could have played on them Cowboy teams. Because, Marcus doesn't lose confidence when he gets beat. He doesn't care. He's got a really short memory. That's impressive because that's not always the case. Anyway, here's Michael Irvin on Marcus Peters.
Michael, what impressed you about Marcus Peters this year with the Chiefs?
Oh man, the corner man, he did a great job. He did a great job, and isn't it funny too? I just think Andy Reid is he's one of the best coaches we have in this league. Andy Reid is mine. He's one of the best coaches we have in this league. And to watch a young Marcus Peters, man, develop into the corner that he's developing in, you're starting to see the guys separate who's going to be that next crop of top corners in this league. As the Darrell Reeves start getting a little older, you're seeing the Josh Norman and the Marcus Peters and all of those guys.
Now, hey, that's high praise, man. The playmaker, Michael Irvin, put Peters in the same class with Josh Norman, dude. Like, Norman's about to get a big deal. And, Norman's 28 years old, man. I think Marcus Peters is, 23? He's just a kid still. And they got him under contract for 4 more years, too, because I'm sure they'll exercise the option. Man, high praise there from the playmaker. But let's continue.
Starting to step up and saying, the time is my time, and my time is now. I love the kid. I love his tenacity. I love how hard he plays. I love his intelligence about the game. He's going to be a good one for a long time.
Now let's and I'm not done. We're gonna finish that in a minute. But anyone who watched Marcus Peters knows he's a lot of fun to watch because being around him for 6 months, I guess, during the season, that man loves football. And I talked to his teammates privately too. They said the same thing. Marcus Peters loves football now, and that's a key thing. That's important. You guys, you've been following me a long time. You know what I'm about. I'll tell you, if a guy don't love football, there's no chance. There might be a chance. Sometimes they can be so gifted it doesn't matter, but that's rare. Whatever limitations Marcus has, his passion for the game is going to carry him a long way, and it has carried a long way. It's going to be really interesting to see what he looks like in year 2. But yeah, so you guys just heard the playmaker. It was great stuff. Good stuff about him from Michael Irvin. But I'm kind of curious. You can't talk about Marcus Peters without talking to Marcus Peters, right? So you can't really talk about him without talking to him. And guess what? I did. And a lot of this is stuff that I didn't use in my story. So I want you guys to check this out. This is me talking to Marcus Peters about, some of the constructive criticism I told him Deion and Eric gave him. And this was after he won the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award, Defensive Rookie of the Year award. The day before the Super Bowl, I caught him in the hallway. And he was great. He was happy. He was looking dapper. He was confident. He was looking forward to getting out of there so he could go back across the bridge to Oakland, celebrate with his family, and I get that. But here's Marcus Peters, man. Again, I'll break in and out when I need to. But here we go. This is Marcus Peters.
I know how much Oakland means to you. I get it. Could you have drawn this up any better to win this just across the bay?
Hell no. I should have. It's a whole lot that I should have did, but like I say, man, it don't feel the same, that we're not playing in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. No, it would have been electrifying to be able to bring the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl 50. We fell up short, man. We as I go through this week, I just look and I just feel the atmosphere, because we gonna be there soon, and we gonna be here a lot, and for us and myself, my family's been with me throughout this whole process, and we've been enjoying this week together.
That was just a really nice thing. Just real quick, that was a nice thing to hear him say because, there are all these questions about his character and stuff heading into the draft last year, and you talk to people around him, they'll tell you, he had a child, I think before the draft, and I think that really helped him mature a little bit and really put things in perspective. That and being kicked off the team in Washington. So, he's definitely a grateful guy for what happened, but he was also confident. You could tell he thought he deserved the award, and he did. He was right. So here we go. Here's the rest.
I know you got a lot more you want to accomplish in your career, and I know you want to play in the Super Bowl, but is this for you, does this feel like some, not justification, but validation?
Not at all.
No? Nothing?
Not at all.
Okay.
I still got a whole lot proving. It's only year 1. It's only year 1, man, and I'm all I'm gonna do is to continue to stack a brick and like EB said, man, just live my dreams out, man. We only get to do it one time.
Did you know it was?
if you're a Chiefs fan, you gotta like hearing that. That here's this guy who just had a pretty historically great rookie season. I went back and cranked the numbers. I think since 1980, only 2 other corners have had more interceptions as a rookie than Marcus did it. That was Everson Walls in the 80s and Anthony Henry for the Browns, I think in 2001. So I actually believed him when he said that too. That guy just wants to win, man. That dude loves football, loves winning. And I think he knows that there's areas in his game he can clean up. All those guys that you just heard, and these were heavyweight guys, kind of went over those, but he knows that there's room to improve, and I think he does want to improve. So let's continue.
It's coming. You know you're gonna win this.
Hands down, man. and that's just me understanding myself and how to believe in what I put out there on the field, and that is the best.
I think the thing people are gonna want from you now is like, all right, what's the next step for you? Like,
and
what's year 2 for Marcus Peters gonna like? Are you gonna follow receivers? Like, what's the next thing for you, bro?
Year 2 for me is whatever the Chiefs organization wants me to do.
Okay.
And that's if I gotta follow, I gotta follow. I don't got a problem with as long as I'm doing something that can help the team win. It's all good with me.
As you can tell, Marcus is a very confident individual, and like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I like my athletes humble," and I think he is, to a point. But like, you better be confident. You better be a confident son of a gun if you're gonna be out there on that island against some of these athletes. I think he walks that line pretty good. So like, just understand, like, he plays a position where you better have that attitude that I deserved Rookie of the Year, and I'm the best thing going at my position. So let's continue.
Have you started thinking about your goals for next year personally? Because, like, now people, like, expect this kind of crazy year from you. You know what I'm saying? Expectations go up.
The goals that people...
Brian was talking about that.
Yeah, the goals that people put amongst me, they don't even get close to the goals that I put amongst myself. So I don't care. Year 1 is going to be different from year 2. Mm-hmm. Year 2 going to be different from year 3. And all we can do is take the opportunities that we have and capitalize on them.
I was talking to Eric Davis a few days ago,
mm-hmm.
and he said that he busted his chops a little bit, probably with his knucklehead or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just for you, that's good though. That's a little constructive criticism. You can take that.
That's something that you need, man, because if you always getting praised, then how you getting better?
Exactly.
That's a great quote, man. Again, like, if you're on the fence about Marcus Peters, and and I doubt many of you are, but like, if you were worried about the character, if you were worried about the kind of person he is, like, that came from a genuine place. And that dude, that's a genuine dude now. He is all about being who he is, and if you don't like him, that's fine too. But I've never seen him not be who he is. And I'm probably doing a bad job explaining what that means, but like, just even in the locker room and stuff, you can tell there's no facade, It's like you take him or leave him. And he's told me that before, like his parents raised him to be that way. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
How are you taking that extra step that you were taking at first to make sure that you was great and make sure that you was on your P's and Q's and dotted your I's and crossed your T's. So it's a whole lot more that goes into expectations, man. And for me, my expectations are high.
For sure.
So that's all I can say.
Eric mentioned that he was giving you grief for looking at the quarterback.
Yeah.
But that's how you make your plays, though, right? I mean.
And all I told him, I said, if they try me if they want to, man. That's it. Just try me.
That's what's up.
If you don't believe it, just try me, and then we can see who really had fun that day.
Just one quick thing. What are you?
That was he wasn't kidding. Like, no one was targeted more this year than Marcus Peters. And you can argue few cornerbacks actually made more plays. Some guys might have played better in the sense that they didn't allow as many catches, but very few of them made more plays than that guy.
What are you going to do this offseason to get better? What can you do this offseason? Film? Like, what are you doing?
The same thing that got me here, and, is to continue to work hard and believe in the preparation. I sacrifice the times that I can go out with all this free time that I got, and trust that it's going to pay off in the long run. I'm trying to provide for my family for multiple generations, and for me to do that, I got to sacrifice the time right now.
Very good, very, very, very good stuff from Marcus Peters. And the reason I'm putting these things together for you guys, because I want to keep the podcast going so I can get the whole A team here together again, which probably won't be for a while. But B, like, I think it's interesting for you guys to like legitimately hear from your athletes, right? Like when I write this stuff in print, like I want you guys to be able to like hear it when you see the quotes and just like know, when I'm putting these stories together, I'm doing it, being able to talk to these guys and get a sense for who they are and making sure I'm putting the right spirit behind these stories. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to really get a sense of the person and where they're coming from so I can have accurate stuff that helps you guys better relate to the player. And I thought it was important for you guys to hear all these interviews I just did about Marcus Peters. Because I hope you could learn a little bit about how he's perceived around the league. He just had a historically great rookie season for the Chiefs. And if you're a Chiefs fan, and of course I'm biased, that's part of my job. But like if I grew up in Kansas City and if I were a Chiefs fan, like that guy would have been a lot of fun to watch. Like it was hard not to enjoy the Marcus Peters experience this year, even for a beat writer. Like what happened in Oakland this year, like that up and down game for him, I've never seen anybody that jacked up to play anywhere ever. And when he mentioned that it would have been electric going to the Super Bowl, he's right. Because the only thing I think that would have been bigger for Marcus Peters than playing at the Oakland Coliseum in front of his friends and family for the first time would have been playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, just the ceiling is off there is no ceiling for whatever kind of emotions he'd show. I mean, it would have been crazy. And, that's actually good to see. Like, if you like seeing your athletes be people and not just like robots, because teams really do try to limit, what they say, and some of that makes sense too. They don't want their guys saying dumb stuff, but sometimes like that can really limit your players connecting with a fan base when they all sound like robots. The thing I think the guys on the beat, we all appreciate about Marcus is that Marcus Peters is not a robot, and he's not going to be anybody's robot. He'll say the right things when he needs to, but that dude is always going to be himself and genuine and tell you the truth in the sense of, about the things he can tell you the truth about. I think he'll do it. And I think that's interesting, man. I think he mentioned during his Rookie of the Year speech, it was a hell of a year for me. And like, I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see that. And again, I'll say to you guys, if you guys like this format, let me know. I can keep doing it. Otherwise, we can keep searching around some things, keep mixing it up, mixing more A-team members. But I think you guys like it. I got good feedback. Just, again, let me know. If you're into it, let me know. And I said this was going to be a Marcus Peters-centric podcast, and it is. I mean, this is about him, but I've exhausted my Peters info, so I'm going to give you a little bonus information. A lot of people at the Super Bowl, like I said, man. So here's I talked to Sean O'Hara, the former Giants center, who's also with the NFL Network, I believe. Sean O'Hara, talked to him about Mitch Morse, the second round, the other top pick that she's had in last year's draft, who fared well. I mean, Mitch had 2 concussions, and that was a problem, and he didn't play at the end of the year. But, man, he started 15 games and looked like he's going to be a good player for a long time. And Sean agreed. I think you guys are going to hear what Sean had to say on Mitch Morse and his long-term future. Another good draft pick by John Dorsey. Here's Sean. Check it out.
I was sad that he didn't get to play in the playoff game, right? He had a concussion. He reminds me a lot of myself, to be honest with you.
Please explain.
Well, I was an undrafted lineman coming in, and he's got good hands, good technique. He's, people look at him, they're not wowed by him. He doesn't have huge size or on paper, he's not jumping off at you, which is a lot like I was. And he just seems to be like he's really smart. He understands football, especially a line play, is all about angles. It's all about leverage. He's done a good job of that. I think he's got a bright future.
As far as young centers in this league go,
real quick, Sean O'Hara saying Mitch Morse reminds him of himself is actually a huge compliment. You're not going to know this. You probably don't know this, but Sean O'Hara made 3 Pro Bowls and was second-team All-Pro one year. He was also a Super Bowl champion, and he played for like 11 years. So, that's a really good career. A lot of players would pay to have Sean O'Hara's career. Not a Hall of Fame guy, you know what I mean? But just a good career where you won and you were one of the best in your field. I think any of us strive to do that, and that's what Sean was. So let's continue. And the praise only gets better for Mitch. You know, Sean mentions, and you're about to hear it, but Sean mentions he puts him up there with some of the better young centers in this league. Here we go.
Where would you kind of, I'm not asking you to compare him with anybody, but who else do you consider to kind of be in his class? Like who are the young guys that are kind of in his tier right now?
Well, I think Travis Frederick is one of the best centers in the league right now. You know, as a center, you gotta be able to do a lot of different things, and you've got to be able to multitask. You know, you're telling people what to do, you're calling out signals, you got to snap the ball and block. You're doing all that at the same time. So I think Travis Frederick's done a really good job of that. Obviously, Ryan Khalil is, you know, he's kind of an old head now. It's funny because he was a young buck when I was playing. You know, I think. Let's see, I'm so focused on 2 teams now. I'm trying to think of the other 3. You know, the Pouncey brothers are, you know, really, I look at those guys, they're guards. They're so big, you know, and they're guards playing center, but they've done a really good job, both of them throughout their careers, you know, as long as they can stay healthy. I like Eric Wood up in Buffalo. He's done a pretty good job. Alex Mack, you know, the guy that you know, Max Unger, you know, moved from Seattle down to New Orleans. I think he's done a pretty good job too.
Okay, great. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, more good stuff. I think everybody agrees Mitch Morse has a long-term future as a center in this league. I also asked John Dorsey at the Senior Bowl. You guys know I've been wondering if Zach Fulton should maybe be the center, and then you can move Morse to guard and, you know, really maybe get something out of that, because I like what Fulton gives you as a center. And I asked John about that, and he made it pretty clear, like, nah, Morse is their center, even though it's very good that Fulton has a high ceiling, you know, that Fulton can play multiple positions. They like that. But, no, Morse is their guy, man. Morse is their guy. So, provided he's over the concussion stuff and he'll be fine from that, certainly a great draft for the Chiefs in 2015, and it's going to be hard for them to replicate that this year. I think they picked 28th in the first round, and that's not 18th, and you can still find good players at the end of the first round. But, you know, just when having nailing your first 2 picks, though that's what you should do, that's certainly not a given. And it's hard to imagine them doing that 2 years in a row. You know what I mean? I got one more thing for you. I asked Marshall Faulk a little bit about Jamaal Charles. We know Jamaal Charles has the, you know, torn ACL, and a lot of people compare Jamaal to Marshall Faulk, and I get that, but they're different guys. I mean, like Marshall was a more natural receiver than Jamaal. Jamaal has drops sometimes. Marshall was a more natural guy. But I did think it'd be interesting to just ask, you know, Marshall what he thought about Jamaal Charles and whether he'd be able to get back to being what he was at age 29. Now that he's 29 years old after having another ACL surgery. Marshall didn't hold back. I'll let you guys hear it, but he seemed to think, hey, man, like, you know, football is a business, and he wouldn't be surprised if the performance of the young backs might have forced Jamaal out, even though we know that's probably not going to happen. I mean, Dorsey basically said that in a conference call with reporters in early January or mid-January. He's like, yeah, we're looking forward to him being back. But the fact that Marshall could even think what you're about to hear is a pretty good indication of how much of a cutthroat business football is. Like you guys love football, you know, I love football, but like that game you watch on Sunday is a business. I don't want you guys to forget that. Everything they do is designed to get money, and it's about making money and being it is a cutthroat league. It is a hard league. Just the fact that this could even be a consideration should tell you that. So just listen. Check this out. This is Marshall Faulk on Jamaal.
29, coming off an ACL injury. He's a guy that did a little bit of like you. He kind of does everything for the Chiefs. What's it gonna be like for him to come back and be full strength? Like, what would it take? Like, you expect him to be what he was before?
You know what? I don't know if he's going to be what he was. You know, Jamaal's a track guy. He takes care of his body. Always looks like he's in phenomenal shape. Always is in phenomenal shape. But unfortunately, as much as we have this conversation, that's not really the conversation. The conversation is, why does Kansas City keep Jamaal Charles after you saw Spencer Ware and Kendrick West?
Nah, I didn't expect that to go there. Like, that's not what I was like, hey, like, you a former running back, you think he's gonna be back? Can he come back? I didn't expect him to go to this place because I haven't heard that be much of an option. Other than when I talked to Joe Corey, shout out to Joe Corey. He mentioned that, if the Chiefs wanted to be cold-blooded about it, they could get him to give back a little bit of money because there's like a workout bonus or something. They can get him to forfeit if they want to by just playing hardball. But even Joel admitted that that's kind of cold-blooded, let alone talking about outright releasing. But anyway, here we go. Just keep listening. It is an interesting option, even if I don't think it'll happen.
For what reason? I don't. I can't even see what reason they would continue to pay if they have a way of getting up from under that contract and dispersing money elsewhere to fill some of the gaps that they have. And that's just real talk. That's the business of the game. I love Jamaal, and I think he could find another home. I think there's a lot left in him. But looking at what went on when he went down in Kansas City, his days are possibly numbered there.
Well, here's the thing about that, too. It's not like last year when they went to the offseason with like $500,000 in cap room. They got $30 million. And, yeah, they got to bring back Eric. And, yeah, they got to bring back Derek Johnson and Sean Smith, theoretically, and Jay Howard and all those guys. Okay. But, like, they got $30 million in cap room. Like, they don't have to play hardball with Jamaal Charles to have enough room to do what they want to do. Now, if Jamaal is willing to move some money around, maybe he's willing to move some money around to guarantee he'll be around. Guarantee he'll be around a little bit longer, and B, open up a little more money. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but they're not at the point where they have to just make cold-blooded decisions. So I guess what I'm trying to hammer home here is, like, I think he's fine. I don't necessarily think that's something that they would or even should do. But, like, maybe it's worth exploring to say, hey, can you give you a little money back to guarantee that you're here this year, next year, that kind of thing. Just move your money around. You're still getting your money, but we're just going to move it around. Because 2016, fellas, I've been telling you, this is the year that they need to make a real Super Bowl run. It's been building to this point. Year 4 for Andy Reid and John Dorsey. They've been building to this, straight up. And I think they won a playoff game. They got that off their back. Like, the regular progression of things, if they're going to do it, man, this is a hell of a time. 2016. I think they should make a run at it. And there's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, if they could bring back Sean, that would be amazing for them. Because the Sean Smith-Marcus Peters duo is the best. It's just one of the there aren't many duos better than that, A. And B, just like as an observer, just two cocky, confident guys who love football. And Sean does love football. Just watching those guys go after it, man, it's just the best. So I digress. Here's more Marshall. I wanted to hear more of what he had to think about Jamaal.
Real quick, what did you like about Spencer and Kendrick? What did you see out of those two?
Oh, just first of all, they were ready to play. For guys who hadn't had a lot of playing time, how they stepped up. And I'm gonna say shared the load. Both having the ability to run inside and outside. They both catch the ball pretty well, and probably the most important thing is in pass protection. They understood not just who to get, but how to get the guys.
Do you think it would help them that both Ware and West are like under contract next year for like super cheap? Like this year for super cheap.
That's why I'm having this conversation with you and telling you it's not really about his health.
Yeah.
Jamaal, he's going to be healthy. We saw how he came back from the last ACL tear. I mean, that's not even a question. The business of the game is going to take care of itself for him. What do you think of Cam?
So interesting stuff there from Marshall Faulk, dude. And when he told me this, I'm like, all right, let me go to like a GM type, like somebody who would know and give me some thought on it, right? Because it's an interesting option, even though Dorsey pretty much said that wouldn't happen. But like, I'm like, all right, let me talk to somebody else, and I found somebody else, Bill Polian, won a Super Bowl with the Colts. I mean, this guy's the man. Like, Bill's the man. He's a Hall of Fame GM, led the Buffalo Bills dynasty, he built that team. Bill Polian is the man. So I went to him about, hey, is this something that would make any kind of sense to you? And Bill pretty much shot it down. Like, he didn't think that that's something that you do to a guy like Jamaal. And I actually agree. But here you go. I mean, this is it. I want you guys to check this out. Give it a listen here.
I'm just curious. Jamaal Charles has his ACL injury. He's 29 years old, and you won 11 games without him. Of course, you bring him back as a manageable number, I think. But as a team, I know the business of football. Is it something you got to consider? I mean, just moving on, saving some money, or do you just say, okay, this is an icon guy for us? You bet on him. You bet on the player.
I don't think with a player of his caliber, you ever think about saving money. The question would be, can only be answered by the doctors and the trainers and the physical therapists. Where is he? What is the prognosis? How do you feel about where we're headed? And then you address the contractual situation accordingly. And with a guy like him, I don't want to farm Andy's land.
Sure.
But from afar, and Andy knows better than anybody. Andy and John know better than anybody because they're around him every day. But at least from afar, he looks like a good bet to me.
Probably want to listen to Bill Polian. Again, Bill's the man. He sharp as they come, and he understands team building better than almost anybody. He's a Hall of Famer at it. He knows it better than anybody, okay? Like Jamaal Charles is the chief. But I wanted to play it for you because I thought it was interesting, man. I thought what Marshall had to say was interesting. And also, it's like an indication of, like, how impressed people were with Spencer Ware and, like, Charkandrick. I mean, the Chiefs won 11-1 without Jamaal? That's interesting. I don't think that they're a better team without him, but, man, 11-1's good. It's up to the Chiefs to use some of those same elements and move the football and really blend some of the stuff they did without Jamaal with the stuff they like to do with Jamaal to really make the offense as good as it gets. And I actually have one last, like, bonus thing for you guys. I did an interview with Bart Scott that caught some attention about Alex Smith. And, Bart, I'll tell you how it is. He gives 0 F's about telling you how he feels. Bart's one of those dudes that, he's not going to back down from his opinion, Can't wait. Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it. He just, that rant was great. And I did ask him about where he thought Alex Smith stacked up with some of the other quarterbacks in the league. And I'm sure you read that story from Super Bowl week, but I just thought I'd play the audio of the interview with Bart Scott so you can hear where this dude was coming from, okay? So, all right, here we go. It's pretty funny. Check it out.
Have you played Alex Smith before in your career? Did you ever face him? What did you see in him as a quarterback, and how has he grown since then?
Well, for me, his willingness to push the ball down the field later in the season has improved. Sometimes when quarterbacks struggle early in their career, sometimes they're scarred. And for a long time, he looked like a guy that was scarred. He just didn't want to make any mistakes. He didn't want to be the reason to lose the game.
You could tell that from the defense.
I mean, of course. I mean, whenever you hear the game manager, it's not that he doesn't have the physical tools. He doesn't have the arm strength to throw the ball down the field. It's not that he doesn't have the athleticism to buy time. He's a tremendous athletic quarterback, right? But, sometimes when you've been scarred, you saw it a lot with David Carr, a guy who got beat up and pummeled early in his career. He didn't trust himself. He didn't trust the process. He didn't trust the pocket. So it was antsy, and he got out of the pocket. With Alex Smith, he's a guy that struggled, under the Singletary, struggled before North Turner got to him, and Harbaugh kind of changed his career around. So he's a guy that still doesn't trust himself and doesn't trust his arm, and I think he should take more risk.
Now, you're the perfect guy to ask this. When you're on the defense and you're directing things and you've got an offense that doesn't push the ball downfield, how much easier does that make them to defend?
Well, it's easier because you can sit at the sticks, and what happens is even if you give up a big play, they still have to continue to work the ball down the field. It's going to take an 8 to 10 play drive, which is a lot harder, right? So, the advantages are in your favor because now they have to work the field. It's not they don't get any easy scores.
I mean, that just real quick. That's why it's so important for Alex to just try to push it downfield. Like, it just helps open up the offense. Defenses do not respect quarterbacks that don't try downfield. Like, you've got to stretch the defense vertically. Defenses are too fast now to be going horizontal all the time with these short passes. They can run you down. Like, you got to make them defend the whole field. And that's why that burgeoning connection between Macklin and Smith is so important.
The hardest things you've got to do is defend the field vertically, too. You take away that thing, it makes you easier to defend, right?
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you have a lead player that can take one guy away and make it difficult. In Macklin or Kelsey, you can shut him down. Now you can sit everybody at the sticks and keep your eyes on the run game and try and make them one-dimensional.
So straight up, as an ex-defensive player, and you had a lot of success in this league, is this a guy that you think can win a Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl?
I'll tell you what, if I would have had Alex Smith, I'd have won 2 Super Bowls, possibly 3. I went to the AFC Championship with Mark Sanchez. Just being honest.
Yeah, how about we run that back again? I know, like, his opinion isn't the end all be all, but for a long time, I had that opinion. Yeah, you can get to a Super Bowl with Alex, and it's nice to have somebody like Bart Scott kind of believe in that too. So let's just run it back one more time.
I went to the AFC Championship with Mark Sanchez. Just being honest.
What do you like about Alex? What are some of the positive things?
I mean, he's becoming, what some people say about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's becoming a very, very astute football player. He knows where to go with the ball. And sometimes he decides to take over the game with his legs. I think it's unfortunate that he lost Jamaal Charles, but I think it allowed him to grow as a player. I say it all the time, it's addition by subtraction. No Benjamin in Carolina forces Cam to play more quarterback. No Graham, no Marshawn Lynch forces Russell Wilson to play the position a little bit different.
All right. Good stuff there from Bart Scott, man. And I hope you guys appreciated all that. Some good interviews to be had out at the Super Bowl, and I just kind of wanted to bring you a best of edition of the podcast, some of the best stuff I was able to get from there. So I hope you learned a little bit more about your Chiefs as we head into the silly season known as the Combine and scouting and draft season, which I love, but I know some of you guys aren't as into it. But we're going to dive into all that soon. The next podcast, I'm going to have a good friend, Matt Miller, on. Matt is a featured NFL draft columnist at the Bleacher Report. Matt knows what he's doing. Now, Matt's a smart dude, man. And it's great. I appreciate the fact that I could have him on. We're going to talk a little bit about the Chiefs' draft focuses heading into this year and the positions they need to fortify and players that could potentially fit. So I ran through like 5 or 6 positions with him real quick that he named players that he thought might fit the Chiefs. That's a must see. You got to check that out. He also gave me his opinion on how the Chiefs' last 3 first-round picks, D Ford, Big Fish, and Marcus Peters have fared. So you're going to want to check that out. Okay. All right. Time to run this thing down. As always, I appreciate you guys listening. If it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't do what I love, which is cover football, write stories for a living. So thank you for listening. Again, if you like this, if you're in on it, let me know. I'll make sure I keep bringing them out to you. Please go rate and review us on iTunes. Sports Beat KC. It just helps. Please do it. I'd appreciate it. And for Sam, Vahe, Blair, Cris Fickett, my producer, shout out to Cris, and the rest of the A-team, man. This is Terez, Paylor signing off. See you guys next time, man. Peace.